Right, while I'm waiting for the shed to heat up a wee bit more, I started off early and the bloody thing ran out of fuel again, so put in a new 5-gallon jerry can and started her up again and warm her up a bit. Thought what I'd do is show you around the glory hole that is my other space, and I'm just going to flick this round just now. I think I kind of do it in mid. There we go. Into the wee office here. Our old house in Aberdeen, up in the wall. And here's the glory hole of shite that I've got. My Reservoir Dogs collection. The kids got me started with a pile of Walking Dead people as well. There's a whole pile of arrows and nonsense up in there. Some black powder firearms. Up here, bow, ivory harpoon, just for show. An old net. And then all the musical paraphernalia in here. I bought an organ to try and work on music theory a wee bit. I've got a wee recording studio set up in here that I can do bits and pieces with. There's the balalaika and the guitar up there. The octave mandolin. And a couple of mandolins here. That's the Northfield in the top. And there's just general assorted black powder stuff. Top hats. Reservoir Dogs, motorcycles, camper vans, you name it. As I say, it does kind of look a wee bit like a hoarder, but I don't think I'm that bad. Or maybe I am. Maybe I'm just in denial. Small pipes down here. A couple of sets of small pipes. I've got a set of Ulian pipes underneath here that I was given by a friend. He couldn't make anything of them, so he gave it to me to torture me with. And they're kind of fun. But I still haven't really got a tune out of them yet. And then my mild obsession with motorcycles, as you can see. There's motorcycles pretty much everywhere. A lot of northern books here, stuff about HBC, explorers. I was kind of obsessed with that for many a year. And then all the other various bits and bobs. The few of the other bits and pieces there. Bruins and Orwilly. Fly fishing fly books. I've got a pile of fly tying stuff somewhere in the midst of all this. And stuck on a shelf. I'll say more books and more assorted junk. And it all looked quite eclectic at one point. I had everything all set up so it looked very eclectic, and then it just kind of became an awful lot of stuff. Just kept getting piled in here. So okay. I'll just play a wee bit of the Northfield just to give you let you hear what it sounds like. And I know Graeme's into this. Lovely sound to it, and nice. I think it's a lot woodier than the other ones. I started off with a wee cheap thing I found in the Source in the Calumet, and it was a good start, but it got me hooked. So anyway, we'll go and have a look at the bagpipes, and I'll switch this thing off. I hope I managed to do it right this time, because I was merely talking to a phone that was on photo instead of video, which was absolutely classic. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's the That's the beater set there, the Dunbars. You can play them anyway. You could play them underwater if you wanted. They're absolutely amazing. They're, as I say, completely made of plastic. Synthetic bag, lined synthetic bag with leather over the top. They play great. They're absolutely brilliant. You can play them in any weather, freezing cold, boiling hot, whatever. And I played them with the condensation running down the inside of the drones and gurgling through the bagpipe reeds. It's pretty amazing what they'll play within. So that's the go-to for any problems. The Athertons, which are the Stradivarius of the bagpipe world, the modern Stradivarius. This guy, Dave Atherton, down in the States, Illinois, he is just an amazing bagpipe maker. Sounds terrible to say, but outside of Scotland, but this guy really has hit the top. So I was very lucky to manage to get a set of these, and he's not overly pricey. Like he really likes his bagpipes to be played by people, and he tries to make them so they're affordable. He could sell them for 4 times the price, but he's just got an ethic which is brilliant, you know. Then, of course, here's the old original set that came across with me. This is, I think they're probably Centers pipes. They're made in the late 1800s. Ebony with real ivory. Now a hell of a hassle to travel anywhere with, so I don't. They stay here. They've been everywhere when before they brought out all the new CITES regulations and everything, but they stay home now, and the plastic pipes go to wherever I need to take them. But these are very dear to me. My old father bought them for me. I was maybe about 12 years old when he got them. Found them in a antique shop in Aberdeen, and we didn't really know what we'd got at the time, but these again are very old, very classic pipes, very soft sounding, much flatter tone than the other more modern bagpipes. I don't know how far you into music or what the story is there, but the modern bagpipes would be playing probably about 481 hertz at A. Or B flat. These ones would be probably down about 465, maybe 470 tops on the old flatter style, much closer pitch to concert pitch than the modern pipes are. So that's a whole strange anomaly anyway. But anyway, okay, so that's the story of the pipes, and a few of the other musical instruments. There's ukuleles, there's a fiddle, there's a 12-string guitar, there's just a litany of stuff that I'm obsessed with, and that's kind of... but I've managed to stop buying recently. I've been behaving myself, but I try not go... There's a app called Reverb, filled with musical instruments, and it's way too much of a temptation. I'd end up with an accordion or something next. That'll be the next thing. So, anyway, next thing, the shed. Here we are out in the yard, and here's the shed world. The container, the wee shed, and the one in the end's all storage. And that's the new UTV for the time being. So this is my own personal little Waco here. Combination of little sheds, the busted knuckle garage, skidoo only parking, but I have mainly Yamahas. So, oh Jesus, I need to make that door bigger. Okay, so here we are in the midst of everything here. It's kind of a little wee glory hole, disappearing here for hours. So there we go. Drill press and a wee cross vise that lets me be very accurate with the drilling the holes in Ulus. This has become kind of the machine shop in here, or the metal workshop. I've sort of made that the basis of here, so it keeps everything kind of separate. New vise, we managed to break the old one in half at one point. Of course, a bench grinder. The south bend, but we'll come back to that. We'll have a wee look over that in more detail. I'll just run you through the shop. Everything's kind of out all over the place at the moment because I was in the midst of making Ulus and stuff, so I've got stuff spread all over the place. I've got a couple of collapsible tables I pull out so I can get everything, done. Compressor. I've got a stick welder there. It's a pretty good welder. Like, it's picked it up at a farm sale down in Saskatchewan. Nice air-cooled welder. Pretty gutsy thing. There's all the Ulu making stuff in here. Various different woods, tusks, bits of ivory, some mammoth ivory in there. Then this one here is kind of a glory of a new sharpening machine I bought myself, specifically for sharpening machine tools more than anything, but also it's really good for getting a start on the knives or the Ulus. And it has a wee rig you can put on that sets the angle already, so it's pretty handy. Of course, a little sanding machine, again Ulu based. Chop saw. This one at the moment has a regular abrasive cutter in it, but I've got it came originally with a steel cutting blade, which was like amazing. It cut like butter until I cut carbon steel with it, and then it didn't cut like butter anymore. So I've got a new one, but I haven't put it on because a lot of times I'm chopping up old saw blades and stuff, so it's probably best not to use it. MIG welder set up with argon and autogas. I tend to use it on the CO2 most of the time. It'll work with a flux wire, but I find it really spattery, and I really like the clean finish of the welds with the auto weld. And obviously with the argon I can weld aluminum as well. Okay, little wee cheap bandsaw for cutting up ivory and stuff, and then a little sanding, rotary sanding station that is good for shaping stuff up and whatnot. And then the sorted bits and pieces for drills and goodness only knows what. As you see, there's hand tools all over the place, or like power tools all over the place, and I've got a selection of hand tools dotted again all over the place as well, various different bits and pieces. Old saws for Ulu blades, and then into the big shed. We built this a few years back now. I always refer to it as the new shed, but it's not really new anymore. But this is kind of the snowmobile workshop and bigger pieces. And I've got better lighting in here too, so it's really handy with this bench when I'm finishing off stuff. I got the buff out at the moment. Use that for buffing up handles, buffing up blades. As I say, there's all the power tools down the bottom, various bits and pieces. Stuff all stored up here. Remains of a 500 Triumph engine that became a 650 on the Cafe Racer. Some other bits and pieces yet to be fitted to the Cafe Racer, which is sitting down in Ontario, and I haven't seen it in about 3 years. So it'll be nice to reunite with it. Reorganisation of all sorts of goodies and nuts and bolts and stuff. Main tool chests. I've got everything in here. Got my, I think this should be all, where is it? Yeah, this is all the other tools. Oh, there's the block plane. I found it. So that's the woodworking stuff. The rest is all mechanic stuff, all sorts of goodies. I mean, this has been, God, 26 years of collecting, just collecting tools, all the pneumatic stuff. I don't use that so much. Like I like I've got a DeWalt impact driver that I really like, and I tend to use it now more than anything. I'll just do that sideways there, and then whole set of metric and standard sockets. And then this is all the motorcycle stuff. This is all Whitfield stuff in here. But all the motorcycles are back down south now. Just assorted. Lots and lots of wrenches. As I say, just collected over years and years. We can pretty much fix anything we want here. Within reason. The new 4-strokes are getting a bit more of a problem, but it was, I say, we're pretty much able to fix anything we want. Table saw there, again, that was for the house renovations. I went and bought one for the house renovations, and silly stuff I've found kicking around. I've screwed to the wall here. Hunting prohibition in Saskatchewan. Some bits and pieces that I found in the sheds. And then just a collection of, the biggest problem with all the vehicles is they all need different oil and different filters, and that's one of the things that gets so hard to deal with. So as I say, the furnace in here, big old standard air blown furnace. Selection of batteries for bolts and goodness only knows what. I've got some big wrenches in there, some really big stuff, sort of good for the truck, or good for some of the big nuts on the engine in the screws are like, 27 millimeter, 30 millimeter bolts, nuts. So it's really handy to have the big heavy duty tools to get them on, and a great big bar to haul them over with. That's the other thing too. So, okay, let's go and have a look, a bit more of a look at the old lady here. Just switch this heating off so it's not buzzing in the background. Okay, get some light on the thing here. Okay, so there's the headstock. I've got a big chuck on there at the moment. I bought that one through, I think I got this one through eBay. I really like this chuck. It's running really nice. I did some stuff just recently that it's running pretty true. Running at about 1,000, I think, which isn't bad for these big old things. And this thing's probably from just after the war. My son's one, I think, probably is pre-war. It's got military stickers all over it and stuff. So I think it was probably on a aircraft carrier or something like that. But great old lathe here. I'm so lucky. My son did me the best service ever, giving me this and then shipping it down and getting everything done. It's been a lot of fun. Been a dream come true, So here we go. There's main power source in there, the belts, and then that of course comes up onto the what would have been originally leather but now is a composite belt. So speed wise, it would be really nice to get a variable speed control on this. That I would like to do in the future. We'll see what happens, because the pulleys aren't that accurate, and it would be really nice to be able to just spin her up or spin her down based on power. But I don't really understand the whole ins and outs of that yet, so I've got to do some studying and figure out things. So this of course is set so you can do threading as well, and the little threader doohickey at the end here. My brain's gone blank on some of the names, but it works like a charm. Like, it absolutely blows me away that you can, it looks like it couldn't be that accurate, but it's absolutely bang on, absolutely fantastic. I've got this stand on here that turns the lathe into a mill. Now at the moment this is pretty solid, there's no issues with this, but the issue is the clamp that I was putting in here. I can't get it tight enough, and so it was pushing the steel out, and when I was cranking it across the face of the tool. So I got to figure that out, because I'm needing to cut some proper T-slots or T-nuts for these T-nuts, and for this T-nut here. This is the original, where am I? There we go, there's the original T-nut, and this is the big one that I'd like to use for the, I'd like to get this cut up for the, or milled up for the vise that's in there. So got a bit of fiddling around to figure all that out. Assorted tools, obviously measuring stuff. You're asking about tooling. Everything I've got here is pretty much carbide tipped. I've got some older fashioned tools. I find the carbide tips are really nice. I do prefer them. Drill bits galore. Go through drill bits like there's no tomorrow. I just bought some bigger tool holders as well to go with this, but I have to build make the equipment to connect this to the lathe. That's the next trick, and that's the tool holder that I've got at the moment. Some slitting saws, plans to do some nice brass work with that. Be able to slit the brass to be able to fit Ulu blades in, and just really get a much better metal to metal finish. That's the plan. And well, it's not really much more than that. I've got drawers full of tooling in here, tooling and measurement equipment. As you can see, big cutter heads, round cutter heads, you name it, we got them. As I say, just slowly working up, trying to get tooled up. Some extra stuff in there, some centering punches, other tool holders in there, and other tools, and then some of the milling tools. And then this is generally original old stuff from the lathe, some welding magnets and stuff in the bottom, and another backing plate for the there that can be machined up. Of the other things, this here is the next piece I want to really work on, is 4 jaw chuck. Again, really for gunsmithing, to do crowning and relief work on the ends of barrels, and this is the little 4-inch chuck that came with it. It's a nice little chuck. It's really good. I did some work in it. I managed to get a little bit more accurate, but I really like that big one at the moment. It's as good as you're going to get in a shack in Pangnirtung, pretty much. But the 4-jaw is going to be the real accurate beast, because you can of course center that with your measuring equipment and get everything bang on. So I'm very, very excited about that. Looking forward to getting that sorted. But as I told you, I don't have a lot of patience, so I've got to be in a mood to do that so I don't screw it up. Herman Nelson here. On occasions when the shed's cold, for a start, fire that thing up, get some heat going, and then get the rest of the heating on. The only problem is everything stinks like friggin' kerosene afterwards, so not good for the lungs. One other thing I didn't point out is I have a loft in here, so these ladders can come down. I won't bring them down just now. It's just full of junk up there. So as I say, I've got a full loft in there that I just pile stuff into. And if you don't know where to put it, what you do, you put it in the attic. So that's a lot of old snowmobile parts and stuff. Okay, that's me again. And that's kind of it, pretty much. So you've seen the gist of it. This is Mika's machine here, the old Tundra. It's our old faithful fishing machine. It's probably we've had it probably for about 7 years. I got it with 50 clicks on from Contant in Laval, and it's a great little machine. All it does is it goes fishing. It doesn't drive anywhere else. That's why it's still in such good condition. So it only goes fishing with Mika on it, and nobody else is allowed to drive it. So that's yeah, on penalty of death if they do anything to it. So that's my main commitment, is to make sure this thing's always running and keeps her happy. Okay.